Hello everyone. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at an article. It's from the Wall Street Journal. Now, this was published on December 27th, and I can't think of his first name. It was written by Rolf Winkler. The thing with this article is they're using this situation between Musk and the spat, and the spelunker he's having a spat with, to basically say that there's no free speech on Twitter. That there shouldn't, that what's said out there should not be protected by the Constitution. And they're using this instance to back that, to push that narrative. So that's why we're looking at this article, because it's kind of interesting how they're even if backhandedly willing to admit that they're going after free speech and that there's no such thing because they say so. So anyway, the title here. Elon Musk says pedophile accusation against British man was protected speech. Now, the thing is there is a dispute on whether or not this was an accusation or opinion, whether it was opinion, whatever else, or if it was banter, giving each other shit, stuff like that. I mean, you really don't go into the kid if you're bantering with someone, but or at least you shouldn't. But, yeah, so they're trying to use this, like I said, to attack free speech, which they're, doing, but they're using it as a new weapon in their arsenal. Tesla CEO files motion to dismiss defamation lawsuit, arguing his insults on Twitter couldn't be interpreted as facts. See, that's kind of the iffy thing about this, but they don't care. They're using this to go after free speech in general. So, well, let's get into the article here. Elon Musk sought to dismiss a defamation lawsuit with his lawyers arguing that no one could have taken seriously his claim that a British cave diver is a pedophile, especially because the statement was made in the rough and tumble forum of Twitter. See, I don't know about that, but it goes to show that he's a little desperate here. And in his desperation, he's willing to do that. I mean, if he may, it depends too. I mean, if it was clear that it was his opinion, that's one thing. But if he's like saying, I have evidence, he's, it's well known or whatever else, saying he's a kid diddler, that's a different story. And, being the Wall Street Journal and how they like to do hit pieces and how they like to sway the news and only tell half the story and shit like that, like they've done when they've attacked, content creators and such. We can't really trust them on reporting factually, especially when they use in a lot of their other articles, unnamed sources, anonymous sources, and saying, oh yeah, the piss dossier was true. It's like, okay, you're really off the deep end there, losing your credibility. I mean, that's how the legacy media is operating these days. Saying things like the piss dossier's real. And using anonymous sources. The motion filed late Wednesday in U.S. District Court in California is the latest twist in a war on words between Mr. Musk and the chief executive of Tesla Inc. and Space Exploration Technologies Corp. and British cave explorer Vern Unsworth. Mr. Musk took offense after Mr. Unsworth, in a CNN interview in July, dismissed the billionaire entrepreneur's efforts to rescue a youth soccer team trapped in a Thailand cave as an ill-informed public relations stunt. He can say without any proof that, and it's taken as opinion. So apply the same standards. I mean, to me, that would seem fair. He didn't say it's my opinion. It's a PR stunt. He said it's a PR stunt. But I guess, standards are double these, are double when it comes to, anyone they're targeting to push their narratives or their agendas. In response, Mr. Musk suggested in a tweet that Mr. Unsworth was a pedophile, prompting Mr. Unsworth to sue Mr. Musk for defamation in September. Okay. I mean, Musk did escalate it just a bit. I'm going to say it's a PR stunt. Well, I'm going to say you're a kid diddler. I mean, that's taking it really to a new level with Banter there. But they're using this, regardless if it's liable or not, to say that there's absolutely no free speech on Twitter, which will, if they get that, then they're going to extend it to online. And they're going to say the Constitution does not apply online. Watch. That's the whole point of this narrative, if you look here as we get into this further. Because that's their intent. Oh, well, guess what? There's no free speech on Twitter. That's what they literally say. Or the Spelunker's attorney, and they put it out there because they want that as the situation themselves. Because the left, which the Wall Street Journal is riddled with like cancer, wants to silence wrongthink or anything that they cannot actually debate against in general. Central to Mr. Musk's defense is that he made the pedophile accusation on the rough and tumble Twitter platform, which the motion described, I read that every time when I get a laugh, which the motion described as a website infamous for the incitive and hyperbole, for an incitive and hyperbole, given that, if, put a period after quotes. We used to do that in the U.S. We used to put a period after quotes when we were starting a new sentence. We've gotten really fucking lazy in this country. I almost made that into a run-on because I didn't see a period, except inside the quote. Given that, and that Mr. Musk didn't actually know Mr. Unsworth, reasonable readers construed his over-the-top insults as opinions, and therefore protected free speech. So wait a minute. This is his defense. Given that it was on Twitter and the fact that Mr. Musk didn't actually know Unsworth, reasonable readers construed his over-the-top insults as opinions and therefore protected free speech, rather than statements of fact that could be considered libelous, the CEO's lawyer argued. Well, here's the thing. Why doesn't Musk file a countersuit on the fact of him saying it was a PR stunt? I mean, if they want to use this logic that, that's going to be seen as factual type thing. The guy went on CNN. I mean, no, I understand less people are likely to hear him say that, or watch the clip or whatever else, or online or on CNN itself, because it is CNN, and 70-year-old people and spurging, thumb their nose leftist types like watching it. So yeah, the ratings are shit, but still, he could make the same argument with what Unsworth said about that being a PR stunt. Mr. Unsworth's lawyer, Linwood, rejected the claims made by Mr. Musk that statements made on Twitter are protected free speech. See, right there, that particular choice of words. This is what I'm talking about. They're trying to inject this in and create it, the groundwork to say that you don't have protected free speech on a platform like Twitter when it comes to, say, like lawsuits, whatever else, them silencing people by, shadow banning them, deplatforming them, whatever else. They're trying to say, oh, you aren't, there's no such thing as free speech on Twitter. Therefore, there'll be no free speech online. That's what they're going to use with this. Trust me. So, here is Linwood saying, that rejected the claims that Mr. Musk's statements made on Twitter are protected free speech. I mean, that's the intent of this. That's why they chose the words that they did with that. I am confident the trial court will I am confident the trial court will likewise reject this fanciful position, which, if adopted, would effectively prevent an individual from seeking redress for any and all false and defamatory attacks on reputation published on the internet, he said in a statement on Thursday. Well, considering that the standards for defamation, libel, slander, and all that are very high in the United States to begin with, you're literally trying to roll them back, and make them more like the UK, it sounds like to me, where if someone feels that you did something, even though you are, because this is how British courts work these days, even the intent of what you said doesn't matter. It's what the person who's interpreting it believes. So that's how the UK courts are acting these days. And it sounds to me like they kind of want that going on here. Now, any reasonable person would look at that and probably go, depending on the context of the other tweets around it, the banter, things like that, would probably be able to figure out it was... I'm trying to think of the best way to put this. Musk getting a little triggered and deciding to escalate it and increase the level of attack with the banter. I mean, that's what it seems like. I think an average, a person of average intelligence might be able to figure out if they had context. And the thing is here is, see, right now it's unless there is like some major shit going on with it, like there's enough to back it up to go after someone for libel or slander, it's hard to make a case in the U.S. Sounds to me, like I said, they're trying to make this an easier ability for people to do. I really do think that. It just seems that way to me. George Freeman, Executive Director of Media Law Resource Center, a nonprofit association of publishers that assists in defending free speech rights, said it is true that people look more skeptically at statements made on the internet, but added that doesn't mean that nothing said on the internet is defamatory. Well, true, but the thing is here, we're talking about Twitter, where if you say there is two fucking genders, they consider that libel, slander, and defamatory, and harassment, and all this other fucking shit. Oh my God. Look at the platform. I mean, people don't take Twitter seriously these days, unless they're on the fucking left. For whatever reason, those idiots take everything on Twitter seriously. So, that's the deal with that. I mean, it's kind of iffy on the libel aspect of this with Musk. It really is. But to me, it seems like they're actually trying to lower the standard with the Spelunker's attorney so that it's easier to go after people. And they'll go after people for stupid fucking shit too. Watch. If this precedence is set, they will start going after people for saying just stupid shit about another person. We don't want to be in a regime where just because it's on the internet, you can say anything you want, Mr. Freeman said. There's no law to support that. Well, you know what? For the most part, yeah, well, that's what the fuck we should have. That's what we should fucking want. Because that's free fucking speech. Unless it's a call to fucking action. Okay? Anything else should fucking go. Period. End of fucking story. No more. No ifs, ands, or buts. That's the deal. Because guess what? Free speech has consequences. If that free speech happens to be libel or slander, depending if you're talking about in print or you're verbally saying it. All right? That's a consequence of it. You're choosing to say something. If you're going to say something outlandish and blatantly false about someone, of course there should be consequences, but you should still have the right to fucking say it. It really isn't that hard to grasp as a concept. And then this idea of just because it's on the internet. No, fuck just because it's on the internet. In the world in general, it should be that way. Okay? So whether you're screaming it on a street fucking corner, whether you're on television saying it, whether you're on the radio, whether you're on the internet, it should not matter. Free speech is absolute. There is no such thing as hate speech. There's detestable speech, but there's no hate speech. I mean, this is the shit that we're going up against. You know, we've got them saying, well, you shouldn't be able to say what you want on the internet. Fuck you. Seriously, fuck you. Get bent, sit and spin. Go fuck yourself when you get time, because obviously you're busy trying to silence people, you piece of shit. You know, Freeman, because for you to say that, you don't believe in free speech. Mr. Musk's lawyer also argued in the brief that because Mr. Unsworth hurled the first insult, Mr. Musk's response is more properly interpreted as an opinion and therefore protected speech. To me, it seems like banter, but yeah. And it is. It wouldn't matter if it's, you know, it wouldn't matter on the fact of it being like, because they're trying to act like it's not free speech. Okay. It is free speech. Whether it's protected or not is a different story. See, Musk's lawyer is trying to make the distinction of protected speech, and the others on the other side are saying, well, you know, you really shouldn't be able to say what you want on the internet, which is you shouldn't have free speech. That's their stance. That's their legal argument. Oh, God. And the thing is Unsworth started it. Musk responded to it, escalated it, went in a direction I personally wouldn't have gone into. I mean, you really don't want, because you're going to have that one idiot out there that's going to believe it is factual. Even if you were to say, this is my opinion, or say you're fucking joking, they would take it seriously. There'd be that one fucking idiot. And you really don't want, hey, to give that one fucking idiot the idea that someone's a kid diddler when they're not. It's just wrong. I mean, that's one of those special places in hell reserved for kid diddlers type of situations. You know, you really don't want to label someone as that. So, I mean, yeah. Who started it might work in the playgrounds, but not in court, said Mr. Freeman. It's not a fact that you look at. It's either libelous or it isn't. Well, it all depends. Because you have a situation here where you have Unsworth making baseless claims about Musk. So if they're throwing baseless claims at each other, don't they kind of take the weight of one, you know, the other's claim and weaken it on the note of saying, well, it's libelous or slander? So, because, I mean, he made false statements about Musk. So, yeah, I mean, there is kind of this idea of, you might want to look at that, especially in a court case. Because if that person starts out saying libelous things, or in print writing libelous things, or on CNN, you know, slanderous. Because technically it's libel because it's in a digital medium, but it's still slander because he's saying it. But him saying those things kind of should have weight on the case. It really should. I mean, yes, calling someone a kid diddler is worse. Far worse. I'm not trying to negate that. But I'm weighing the situation in, because if it's two people slinging, you know, libelous shit at each other, one of them really can't claim victimhood. You know what I mean? This is just one of those situations where they're going to milk it for everything that they can. And they're going to use it to basically attack free speech. Because if this goes against Musk, they're going to say, well, there's no such, you know, there shouldn't be free speech online. There isn't free speech online, would be more accurate, is what they'll probably do. So, I mean, I don't agree with Musk doing, you know, with Musk doing what he did. I mean, that's a line you shouldn't cross. I mean, unless the person is a fucking kid diddler, you don't call the person a kid diddler. It just doesn't work like that. That's just wrong. But do I think he should have the right to be able to say it? Yeah, I'm a free speech absolutist. So should there be consequences when you falsely accuse someone of something? Yes, of course there should be, because free speech does have consequences. So, I mean, yeah. But they're not, the other side of this is trying to act like this isn't free speech, period. It is. It's just free speech with consequences. Anyway, I've covered this well enough. I'm just going to leave things here. If you liked this video, depending on where you are watching it, please give it an upvote or thumbs up. If you want to know when new content of mine hits the internet, don't forget to subscribe to one or more of my social media or video accounts listed here. Also, with YouTube, don't forget to ring that bell. You can find all of my video content on both BitChute and YouTube. This may not be the case with other places I upload to, but I will try to minimize this happening. You are always welcome to interact with me at any of these sites on the list, so feel free to do so. If you have anything you want me to cover in a video, when it comes to news or current events, send it right along to me. I will try to do my best to cover it. As always, thank you for watching.